COVID. How does it affect life in school? And what do students have to say about it? Football. How has it been affected since COVID began? And meat tax. Is it right for the government to place taxes upon meat for the benefit of the environment? Hello, my name is Sam Blake. You're watching Bucks College News. And our first story tonight, COVID in the college. We're going to our news correspondent Ethan, who interviewed a student at Amersham College, and here's what he had to say.
Our college has been affected by COVID-19. Now going into a second lockdown, we are still in education, although things have definitely changed. We spoke to a student who has been here since before the first lockdown, Harry Moore. This is what he had to say. I'm here today with student Harry Moore, who studies at Bucks Amersham College.
Hi.
How has the canteen around college changed?
Well, it used to be like a meeting area. People would sit there and have lunch together. Now it's just drive through, you pick up your food, you go. Can barely say hi to John and the people working behind it. So that's unfortunate.
So I've heard with a new system you have a 1 week off, 1 week on schedule where you have 1 week doing Zoom, 1 week in college. Has this impacted your friendships, and if so, how?
Oh, 100%. Like, when I'm at college, I'm loving it. I can hang out with my friends. We
I
can
bet.
just sort of muck about. When it's a Zoom lesson, I'm just sat on my own at home,
100%.
talking at my phone. There's no like actual communication. Even in like a breakout room where we can have a bit of fun, it's still like soulless and empty.
Yeah. So you have these Zoom calls every other week. Do you enjoy them?
That is a tricky question.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still an opportunity to learn, so I'm not going to scoff at it. I'm getting a third year at college for free. So that being said, it's nothing like being in a lesson. It's like I said, it's empty, it's soulless. The teachers are doing their best, but it's just a difficult time for everyone.
Now, the college has used many different techniques, as we've spoken about some, to deal with the situation. Do you think they're doing the best? And if so, do you think there's anything they could improve to improve the safety and the bad situation we're in right now?
I think the college are doing an admirable job. Like, there's a lot of systems in place, like you said, that do a lot of good. Like, the sanitizer is everywhere, which is like important.
Yeah.
There's the badges like this, that's important, and it helps us know. It helps with like track and trace and all of that, so I appreciate that. I do think the smoking area, because that doesn't have zones, is not like defined like that, so I could be sitting next to someone from blue zone or whatever and not have an alternative because there are only two benches and it's raining. So yeah, that's the only real issue I've noticed. Other than that, the college is doing amazing.
Right, okay. Well, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Alright, reporting back to Sam Blake in the studio.
For anyone just tuning in, our first story tonight was COVID in the college. For our second story, sports has been massively affected by COVID and it's only now just getting back to normality. Our sports correspondent Tony spoke with a former Oxford United player to find out more.
How has COVID-19 affected you mentally? And as you were manager at a club, how did it affect training?
When lockdown became reality towards the end of March, I went to watch a game at St Ives because we were due to play St Ives on the Saturday, and the league was suspended on the Thursday, but St Ives were at home to Hensfield on the Tuesday, so I got a ticket, drove down, watched the game, did a report, and then got told on the Thursday that the league season's going to be suspended. So first thoughts were, when's it going to restart? What preparation do we need to do with the players? How are we going to plan fitness regimes? How are we going to make sure that when it does restart, we're ready to go? And then pretty quickly, it became clear that it was going to be a struggle to complete the season. And then it ended up, that was it, null and void.
As you were manager at the time of obviously the uncertainty of how the league was going to finish, so if it was going to do like a project restart like the Premier League did, would you have stayed as Banbury United manager, or would your contract still be void?
To keep it quite simple, my contract had run out. I was very keen to remain at the football club. As I said, we were in a fantastic run of form. We were on the fringe of the playoffs. I looked at the fixtures and we probably could have achieved something, finishing in the playoffs. The decision was mine to leave ultimately. I really wish I'd have stayed because that was my preference. But sometimes things are taken out of your hand and you have to make a stance, and you have to be loyal to your vows and your beliefs, and that's what I was. So I moved on. I've quite a long time out of it now, and Andy Wing's taken over, and he's now steering the ship. So somebody else has got the opportunity to make Banbury United an even better football club than they currently are.
I'm guessing you haven't found another new managerial position. What would you need to be assured of to take another job?
There have been jobs available, and I have had a couple of interviews. When a manager leaves his position early in the seasons because the team's not doing well, but that wasn't the case. So there were 3 jobs in particular that I applied for. If I run a football club, I would want to have some input. It's my money. It's funding the playing budget and probably trying to achieve success. So I would expect as the manager for us to have lots of conversations, lots of questions from him or her to say, why did you pick that team and why have you not selected that player recently? I think if it's a club run by a group of directors who are supporters themselves, who have no financial input into the football club, so they're not donating monies per week to keep the club going, then I think that's probably a different relationship. I think that would be, Mike, with a point of view, you need to get on and do the job the best you can, and if you need some support, then we'll offer that support. So it's all different. You just have to work with, it's like any job, you have to work with the people that are with you on a day-to-day basis. But, there will be situations where if somebody gets involved in trying to pick the team or have a say on selection policy or bringing players in that I don't particularly value, then that's another conversation that you have.
But say, because obviously Banbury was ideal for you as you work in Banbury, if you find another job, say in, I don't know, Kings Lynn, would you have to relocate your day job as well? Or?
If it's a full-time job, if it's a full-time football job, then I would relocate. But I've been out scouting recently, watching games at Step 2 in the National League South, and some of those trips have been 2.5 hours on a Tuesday night. Getting there, leaving home at 5:15, getting to a venue at 20 to 8, leaving there at 20 to 10, and getting home at 11:15. So fortunately, the M25 is quite clear at the moment. So it's okay. But okay, but if it's worth doing, then you get it done basically.
So you were Banbury manager for 5 years, if I'm not being wrong. What is your favourite memory of being the manager there?
I did actually think about this. And so the first one was being offered the job. To actually have a call from a board member to say, Mike, that we've interviewed X amount and we'd like to offer you the job was nice.
Thanks a lot for doing this. Much appreciated.
No problem. I hope it helps you.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
And good luck with it.
For those just joining us, our sports correspondent Tony spoke to a former Oxford United player on his life now during COVID. And we'll be back after a quick commercial break. Welcome back, I'm Sam Blake, and for our final story tonight, I am here with Dan, a meat analyst, and Adam, a food economist, to talk about a new British tax from the government on meat, to cut down on meat consumption and to have a better impact on the planet. They are here to give us a greater insight into the good and maybe not so good aspects of this new tax on meat. So Dan, how will reducing meat consumption affect people's health?
Well, I think what a lot of vegetarians don't realise is there are a lot of beneficial benefits to meat, such as it supports pregnancy and helps the babies receive the proteins and minerals and vitamins that they need. And it also benefits psychological health, and it gives people the omega-3 fatty acids that they need to protect their brain.
Okay, and Adam, how do you think people will react to a price increase of about 14% on all meat?
Well, we have realised about roughly 40% of people have stopped eating meat without any influence. So we hope with a bit of persuasion that we can help people to understand why eating meat is affecting the planet badly. It will also help people to save money as they won't be spending it on meat and the public minimum wage will go down in the UK or up in the UK.
And how do you both think that refusing or reducing, I don't know, is it refusing or reducing? Okay, reducing meat consumption will affect the climate?
The food sector accounts for 26% of the total global greenhouse gas emissions. This had the detrimental effect on the climate. It has also been shown that the meat production is far more harmful to the environment, that plant-based production, therefore lessening the production and consumption of meat could do wonders to the fight against climate change.
But that's not really fair, is it? Because while, yes, it does contribute to climate change, I think it's important to note that there are other much greater things that impact it, such as cars and other forms of transport.
Well, thank you, Dan and Adam. Some of the public has been sent their opinions on the meat tax. This is what they had to say. I'm Sam Blake, and this is Bucks College News. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.